Ayan.
So,
anong tanong mo?
do you want to know or do you want to understand the perspective of our clients?
Yeah, what are they looking?
Soon to be clients.
To know what are they looking for? Is office better than remote work?
And to tackle what clients are looking for, a perfect outbound agent.
Yeah, so here is a live video feed from the SEO of Outbounders.com, James Sundance.
James here, James Sundance. I am sorry that I couldn't be there at the remote working conference that Rika and her team have put together, but I sent the absolute best person that could represent not only me, but perhaps the best example of remote working gone right. I'm very honored to be with you in this forum, and I'm very grateful to have Alice there to share our stories of success as well as our trials and tribulations together. We've been working together for more than 6 years. She started out managing just a small remote team with me, and now here she is today. She's CEO of the company, managing over 200 staff, including helping to oversee our Outbounders platform, where we have thousands of active agents and clients. And we've been working together. She's been handling large sums of money in the Philippines and learning about the pitfalls of working with remote teams, also working from the office. So she's going to have a wealth of experience and knowledge to reinforce the core of what I'm here to share with you guys today. And the points I really want to get across is how important it is to work with teams of integrity, people that you can trust. And over time, as you build that trust, you can also build a lot of care and love with each other. And I feel like we've done that. I have lived by a philosophy of care, competency, and communication as the backbone of how I have built remote teams, and I've been able to work with people all over the world, knowing that you care for each other and you also care for the project and the work that you're doing. So there's a certain pride of ownership in your work, as well as a certain sense of coming from the heart in the care that you have for the people that you're working with. So that's number one. Number two is competency, and care comes before competency, because someone could be competent in their work role, but if they don't care about the project they're working on, or they don't care about the people that they're working with, no one's going to really want to work with that kind of person, and you can't really trust them. So care comes first, and then there's competency, and you can recruit for competency, or you can train it into a person if they have the right attitude. And then there's the metrics that you use to make sure that they are competent. So how are you going to measure progress? How are you going to measure growth and improvement? These are very important things to look at in your remote teams, as well as if you're working from an office. And the last thing is communication. So you're constantly going to be adjusting and calibrating to each other. And so it's important, when you know that you have the care and that you have the competency, that if there's, for whatever reason, the results aren't where you want them to be, it's probably there's some communication issue. And if there's any conflicts within your team, that should be your first priority to work out. So have a culture of open communication, transparent communication, and you might have some of these cultural nuances across different geographical areas, but work them all out so that you can create a unified culture of open communication, transparency, honesty, and integrity. And if you do this, you're going to have a very successful remote working project. And there's one last thing I want to leave you with, and that is to also how to incorporate a work-life balance. As some of you might know, in working with me, I really emphasize how to create a full potential life. And so how do you do that from a work atmosphere at your home to also have what you need to in order to really live your full potential in your personal life? And what I recommend is your first hour in the morning that you get up, you have a great routine that it could include exercise and reading and meditating, but make that hour for you to have a foundation for your energy, so that when you do start investing into your work and working with your teams, that you have a really strong and great positive energy before you begin the day. I can't say enough about having a good positive morning routine. It's worked wonders in my life, and I know it will for you. Now I'm going to turn it over to Alice. I'm glad that I was able to join you guys. Thank you so much for what you're doing to contribute to the lives and the flexibility of everyone that's working from home. And I think if you incorporate this care, competency, and communication into your daily work lives, you're going to see a lot of success and a lot of positive energy flowing between everyone. And that's what really is the definition of success. I think, what can you add and what can you contribute to each other? So thank you. And and I'll turn it to Alice. Thank you.
Guys, palakpakan naman natin si Alice.
Hello everyone! Hindi naman ba kayo na-disappoint na ako yun nandito? Hindi naman, no? Oh, thank you. Let me try my best here to convey the same message that James would say if ever he's here. But you have to help me out here, okay? Okay? Alright, thank you. So this is how it feels pala, no? To be right here and to share this moment with everyone. Thank you very much, Rika, Chris, and team for allowing us, Outbounders.com, to share our story. Can we give them a big round of applause? I may not know each one of you because this is a crowd, right? But I believe that we all came here for the same purpose, probably. We want to revolutionize the home-based and freelance industry. We want to continue to give more people the flexibility of time for work and freedom to do the things that matters more in life, right? My name is Alice Grace Ledesma Bautista. I started as Junior Operations Manager, and right now I am Chief Executive Officer for Outbounders.com. I am here for Mr. James Sundance. I actually knew him as James Rick Stinson, but he changed his name to James Sundance, so let's call him James Sundance. And he's actually celebrating his 36th birthday today in Costa Rica. Exactly the same time I'm speaking here. So happy birthday, James. Happy birthday. And I represent him here with great enthusiasm, gratitude, and deep love. Since, well, he couldn't make it in person today, but he's also sending his big love for everyone who's here. I am here to talk about working with a Filipino team on his behalf and citing common problems that we have personally encountered in the business. These problems that can potentially compromise relationship and eventually the success of any business, especially in the home-based setup. Probably some of you have similar experience than ours. Definitely you could relate to what I'm gonna talk about this afternoon. And how important is building trust as core of every business relationship. So let me begin. A couple of days ago, I was in Cebu City. I attended a very important meeting. It was actually an interrogation meeting with one of our previous managers that was allegedly involved in the misappropriation of funds in the business. Sadly, this staff of ours, whom I'd like to call Mr. X and I, have been working together as managers home base for more than 6 years. In that meeting, he brought a lawyer with him to prove himself innocent. He came in that room so combative and he wanted to slay me with that look in his eyes as if it was my fault he took the money. And he wants to prove to me that it wasn't him. So we sat down together and we started to talk about why he was there and why I was there. And he told me he came there because he wanted to prove himself innocent with his lawyer. I almost believed those tears in his eyes and that conviction in his voice. But then I look at the pile of papers in front of me and my cell phone that bears call recording about his involvement in the case. And I said to him, "Why are you doing this? I invited you in this one-on-one because I wanted you to rectify your mistakes by admitting it and returning the money that you took while we still could give you the chance." And then he insisted, "Because I didn't do it." And I said, "Are you sure? Because I have all the evidences right here with me that pointing at your involvement." It was a long and chaotic discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Ayaw aminin. And it was funny because we would never ever have landed to admission until the papers and all the facts are presented to him and he heard a recorded phone conversation with one of his colleagues in that scam saying he's actually part of it. This time, real tears fell in embarrassment. So here's the kicker. Working from home gives us more of a trust-based kind of relationship with our clients. It's a privilege, right? It is. But others take advantage of that privilege for their own self-interest. They tend to sugarcoat a lot of fake impressions and make their efforts appear genuine. With Mr. X, The sad part is that the number of years that we have spent at work together, counting all the sweet memories together, will never count the right commitment for efficiency, more so the level of loyalty and honesty in our working relationship. Sometimes, if you caught people like them do something wrong, they will always have plan A, plan B, up to plan Z to mislead you and make you believe that you are the wrong one. They will try to pretend that they are innocent and that it's the most convenient thing to do because they want to save face. Well, what we have learned in this situation with Mr. X is that to manage problem, number one, is that we always need facts all the time. We always need to be on top of our monitoring accesses as a rule of thumb in managing remotely. Have the control of the systems that our people use for work so that we could have at most visibility of their communication and work activities. These systems could include their time doctor that captures their screenshots every 15 minutes, their main communication tools for work such as their Skype and their email, these and other channels that we, employers, give them to perform their duties effectively. You may also want to consider a call recording application to your phone to document, voice calls for future references, because that's how we actually solve the problem with Mr. X. Or for the new ones, probably, you might want to try using an agency online that have ready programs to provide these types of transparency for your audit process. We have Outbounders.com, the company that I represent today, and we have RemoteStaff.com. Are we being paranoid when we do these? Well, no. It is a must to follow a strict audit process to prevent a problem. And in case it gets out of hand, you have facts with you to assert for the truth. Dishonesty could actually come in different forms, and in this case, Mr. X had a misappropriation of funds issue. But dishonesty could be a common problem at work, especially for those working from home, due to the lack of leadership and management presence around them. Some would lie on their attendance, such as their login or working hours. Others would pretend to have lost power or internet connection because they don't feel like working at that time. Or others may actually be working for multiple companies all at the same time. I hope it doesn't sound familiar to you guys. Yeah? Aside from the strict audit process through the systems that people use for work, it is also a highly suggested solution to hire a manager that can communicate with them regularly about their performance, implement disciplinary action once there are a pattern of misconduct, and most importantly, to oversee the day-to-day productivity in operations. To manage a Filipino team, it is also suggested to hire a good Filipino manager that can easily relate to the culture and the natural tendencies of Filipino agents and staff. Hire a Filipino manager that have high ethical values and has the experience to work with a dynamic team and has the capacity to solve critical Filipino working problems. Well, as I speak about managers, gusto ko lang po sanang i-flex yung aking head of finance na andito kasama ko sa audience today, who have helped me get through solving the problem with Mr. X. That's why this problem is now a case closed. And of course, to my director of sales who's also here with me, who helped me get through this speech. So, iba talaga pag meron kang magagaling na manager sa team mo. Pwede ba akong maghingi ng isang malakas na palakpakan sa aking managers? Thank you very much, Louie, and thank you very much, Don. So now you might wonder, what happened after Mr. X has admitted his involvement? Can you guess? Would you like to guess? Because I have some options here for you to choose from. A, he got crucified. B, he got slapped in the face badly. C, thrown outside the window. Or D, none of the above. What do you think? But what do you want to do if you're given the chance? Well, I wish we could do A to C for people who have hurt the business, right? But this is where the value of community applies, that James has always tried to inculcate in the business as a matter of preference in managing a Filipino team. He believes in the big C's that he mentioned today: care, competence, communication, and why care is at the top of everything else. In a caring community, people do great things together, help each other, but also resolve conflict with precision of facts and following a reprimand process without losing compassion and kindness in our delivery. So how Mr. X had been handled after the admittance? Well, lucky him, we're a caring community, so it's D, none of the above. Sayang. Does it mean that he could go away with it? Well, certainly not. After Mr. X has admitted his involvement and sincerely apologized and signed the letter of admittance and promised to pay, I told him that I was glad he chose to rectify his mistake, own up to it, like I was a manager to him, talking to him back in our olden days when we are still together as a team. Given the years of being together, it honestly pained me to see him suffer like that. So, well, to cut the story short, we ended a difficult conversation with a big hug, and I told him that I wish he could move on from that experience and make it a turning point in his life to make him a better person. Apparently, there are still negative consequences of his actions, which would include blacklisting him from our HR side and not recommending him for other employers when they reach out to us for a background check. But at least he did not go to jail, right? Right. And he could still make up for his mistakes. He began by helping us know the truth of that scam. So we have seen the loopholes of our imperfect human processes. He also confirmed all the identities of other involved parties, his company, which makes this a case closed right now. What Mr. X has done definitely breached the trust and confidence vested upon him by our company. He did not only lose the vast opportunities of possible career growth and bright future with the company, he tainted the great relationship and the professional ties that were built with love through the years. Now, this is a takeaway for all of us working from home, or for those who are just checking their options yet to work remotely. We have to realize that once a client has already chosen you for work, that means you already gained a level of trust at that point. You have the responsibility to take care of it, guard it with your life, and it will take care of you in return. That I have personally experienced in my journey with Outbounders.com. As a business owner, I believe that putting my trust to people that I choose to work with is never wrong. Just as how James is able to put his trust on me, that empowered me and motivated me to perform at my best. I was able to move from the ground up because we made trust as a foundation of our working relationship, which opened up to a lot of opportunities for both of us in this business. As for me, I was able to finish my degree in college while working. I was able to buy my own house and cars. I was able to travel to Asia, North America, and Latin America because of this job, and raised my children hands-on. I have 3 boys. And not only that, James and I were able to build a strong connection with each other through trust. We became friends, and he becomes my extended family. And we share this life right now with a common purpose of helping and serving others in good light and with great love. Well, this is our story. I'm sure that you have your own story to share, and I look forward to hear from you. Thank you, and happy freelancing.
Thank you so much, Miss Alice.
Thank you, Miss Alice.
Oo. Picture po tayo.
Picture po muna tayo. As a representative, kailangan rin natin ng...
Yes. Sige po.
Yun.
Balik po
That's,
tayo. Yes.
that's one of the reality
Kasi
of
sayang po
freelancing
yung
talaga.
LED screen.
Yung trust and certainly Mr. X, ah. Ano, picture lang.
Ayan. So we will present
So, as
you
a
with this
representative
appreciation wine.
Mr. James. Oh, hey, no, thank you, Ma'am Alice.